It was about this time a year ago that I got introduced to my favorite XR glasses I'd ever encountered, the VITURE Pros. And now, again, roughly a year later, we're here with the updated version, the VITURE Luma Pro, which takes everything that I loved about the VITURE Pro, ratchets it up to 11, and introduces some killer new features that you're going to want to try if you're an XR enthusiast or somebody who's just looking to play games in the best way possible, or even work on the go. So big thanks to VITURE for sponsoring this video and providing the things that we have here before you. So as mentioned, we have the VITURE Luma Pros right here, and they have a lot, again, of the same accoutrement that came with the original VITURE Pro, except it's now upgraded and improved, such as the 4K-like ultra-sharp display, which comes in at up to 1200p resolution, but is 50% sharper than the previous VITURE Pros, making it the sharpest XR glasses display on the market thanks to their advanced optical optimization. Now, VITURE says that 4K-like is a term that they use because of feedback that they got from their customers, with a lot of people trying on the VITURE Pros and being like, is this 4K? This looks crisp enough, this looks good enough, this is sharp enough, but it wasn't actually 4K. So that's why they're saying the resolution is 1200p. They're not trying to hide that, but again, with the improvement in clarity that they have here, which is real and noticeable, text is tack sharp. Every image that I look at through these glasses is big and improved over the regular VITURE Pro. They're saying that it's 4K-like just because of the experience that you get within the glasses, but it's not just the sharpness that they've improved. Additionally, you get a 15% larger display than the VITURE Pro, giving you a massive screen for you to play games, mirror your phone, or do various other things with it on. And they've even changed the style up as well, with a premium translucent design and a first-of-its-kind dynamic light effects that happen to go on the arms of the glasses. You can turn it on or off, but it is there for people to get to see around you. And these things are built for everyday wear. You've got the electrochromic film, which when you're wearing it, you just turn it on, it blocks out the brightness of the world around you and makes it so that you can be fully immersed in what you've got going on. Additionally, you can buy separate lens covers to make it so that you're immersed even more, but I personally don't need them. I brought the VITURE Pros with me to Taiwan for Computex last year. I played Balatro on my Steam Deck for 14 hours straight using these things, and just using the electrochromic display, darkening everything around me, I was just in my own world for that entire time, and it's just as good on the Luma Pro. It also has myopia adjustments, where you're able to change it based on your eyesight needs. It has flexible arms to make sure that it's fitting well on your head with tilt adjustable temples, which is something that I really love, making sure that you can actually place it vertically in the way that you want, not just making sure that it's fitting snug on your head on the sides. It also has ergonomic nose pads to make sure that it's fitting well right here, and they offer two different sizes, a regular and a large, for different IPDs, or interpupillary distances, to make sure that you can actually have it according to what is best for your face. A lot of that is very similar to the VITURE Pros previously. And additionally, you still have the Spacewalker app, which is a companion app that you can use on various other devices, such as a MacBook, that can allow you to have multiple screens to have a larger workstation on the go. This is, again, something that I used on our trip to Computex last year, giving myself the ability to have a triple screen monitor set up with a single laptop, but not having to put on a bulky, arduous headset that from the company that happens to make the MacBook. But there are some improvements that we're going to get into now that are just beyond better ergonomics, better screen size, better sharpness. In fact, the Luma Pro is the first ever on-the-go XR experience for the Switch 2, which happens to be a brand new console. With the VITURE Pro mobile dock, you simply plug in your Switch 2 into the dock, you plug your glasses into the dock as well, and then you have a 152-inch screen with glorious brightness and all of the massive gameplay that you could possibly want. But it gets even better than that, because the VITURE Pro mobile dock actually supports two glasses outputs, two Type-C outputs, in fact. So you and your friend who have VITURE Pro glasses can play split-screen co-op gaming just using one Switch 2, one mobile dock, and then 2 displays, whether that's 2 glasses or glasses and otherwise. But that's not the only first that VITURE has with this launch. They are also partnering up with 8BitDo to launch the world's first XR-compatible mobile controller. This is 2 years in the making with 8BitDo to provide a game controller that plugs into your Android phone and allows you to have AAA gaming on the go with remote play, cloud gaming, mobile favorites. You want to play Asphalt Legends or otherwise. Michael doesn't want me to bring up Infinity Blade because that's kind of dead and gone, but this allows you to plug in your Android phone, get a massive screen by plugging in your VITURE Luma Pro glasses into it, and then just gaming in glorious resolution. So you can play your PlayStation 5 games utilizing remote play. You can play your PC games utilizing something like Moonlight and then connecting them to the glasses. And again, having a massive, sharp, brilliant screen that's also significantly bright. And the 8BitDo controller continues with the same color scheme that I liked from their controller that they launched last year with the VITURE Pro, with its orange accents that are very reminiscent of something like the Steam Deck OLED limited edition that launched. The design language on this is immaculate. They absolutely knocked it out of the park with 2 years in the making. But now I gotta be honest about the most surprising feature of the Luma Pro setup for me. Because when I read about this, when VITURE asked us to talk about this, I was like, this is probably just gonna be a gimmick. I'm gonna try it out and it's gonna be like, it kind of works, but no. Actually, the immersive 3D that VITURE has developed for these glasses actually works phenomenally well, because the immersive 3D takes 2D content that you're experiencing on your display, and using AI and VITURE's proprietary 3D algorithms, it can create a dynamic environment that makes it look like things are actually in 3D space around you. So the first time I tried this, Michael was showing me something on his MacBook, and all he did was pop up a separate window in front of the first tab he had open, and it looked like that window was like a couple feet in front of the previous window. It works seamlessly from the get-go, but it can also do it with not just static content on a laptop, but it can also do it with dynamic content, whether that's your family videos, your family photos, watching YouTube. Michael put on a nature documentary for me and the animals popped out of the background. It was incredible. You can do that while watching Netflix and even gaming. They allow you to convert 2D games into 3D dynamically on the go, again, thanks to VITURE's proprietary 3D algorithm. It analyzes each frames, identifies depth cues and spatial relationships, and it actually works well enough that I was impressed by it. This is not normally something that would get my praise. As mentioned, I was very skeptical of it. I've seen 3D stuff talked about before, but this is the best implementation that I've seen just from a piece of software and using the Luma Pro glasses. So I've been a big fan of the VITURE Pros ever since we got them. I think it was last May. Used them all year, used them on multiple international trips, and the Luma Pro just takes everything that I loved about the VITURE Pros and dials it up. It makes it a much better experience. But VITURE's not just stopping there. They're in fact launching a whole family of Luma series glasses. So they're starting with the Luma Pro, what we have here, which is gonna launch at $499. It does have a front RGB camera for spatial awareness and spatial capturing. However, they will include a sticker on it at launch in case you don't wanna actually use that or have that camera active. But then available in September, they're gonna be launching the VITURE Luma, the non-Pro edition, which is gonna lack the built-in camera and just have a USB-C connection instead of the magnetic connection that we have here on the Pro, which again is something that I forgot to mention because it was just something so brilliantly done on the VITURE Pro that I forgot that this is a standout feature. You just connect USB-C into the device that you want and then the magnetic attachment onto the back of the glasses and you're good to go. But then in August, they're gonna be launching the Luma Ultras, which has that front RGB camera, 2 depth cameras, the magnetic connection, but those depth cameras allow for 6 degrees of freedom and hand gestures across the Pro neckband with Mac, Windows, utilizing all the software, allowing you to get a much more immersive experience out of it. But then they're not stopping there. In October, they're going to be launching the VITURE Beast. Now, this is something I'm excited for, and I really hope that we're able to partner with them on the launch for this because it will still have the front RGB camera and a USB-C connection, but it's going to include incredible displays, a 58-degree field of view, Sony's latest micro OLED panels going up to 1,250 250 nits brightness, built-in vision pair, 3 degrees of freedom, Harman audio, a 170 to 176 virtual display with that up to 1200p resolution with dynamic dimming, customizable display modes, and a built-in microphone. This is the flagship option that should hopefully launch in October with pre-orders starting today, July 8th. I remember initially when I got to try out my first pair of XR glasses, and it really revolutionized mobile gaming with things like the Switch or the Steam Deck, giving you a gigantic display so that you could enjoy your games even more. But now, as we're years past that, VITURE is absolutely stepping it up with my favorite glasses that have ever launched. These Luma Pros give me the best display that I've ever looked at, the sharpest text, the clearest images that I've seen. The electrochromic display allows me to get immersed in whatever I'm doing. The Spacewalker app makes sure that I can use these for productivity and not just for gaming. And if I want to use my VITURE Pro glasses with my Luma Pros and then play Mario Kart World with my kids using the dock, I can now do that thanks to VITURE. So again, we want to appreciate them sponsoring this video. You can check out everything about the VITURE Luma Pro and the Luma family series of the XR glasses down below in the link in the video description. And we'll see you again in the next video.